What is the meaning of Shavuot? The word Shavuot means weeks, weeks, as in the 7 days of the week. And it is in plural because we need to count 7 weeks, meaning seven sevens, which is 49 days, from the Omer Rashid, the beginning of giving the Omer when the first harvest of the year started, and count each day 49. And then on the 50th, that would be the feast of Shavuot on a first day of the week, because it is first fruits when the nation would bring the first fruits of whatever they harvested um, to the temple. So that has to do with the first harvest of souls that Mashiach came to um, call to the kingdom. So that's why on that Shavuot, after Mashiach went up, there were 3,000 that were saved, that were called and heard the call, of course. So that was like a harvest of 3,000 souls that accepted Mashiach on that day. And that was a contrast um, of the day when, after the people of Israel uh, worshiped the golden calf, Moshe came down and said, "Who is with us and who is with them?" Meaning those that were worshiping the golden calf. And after they made a separation, all the Levites were on the side of Moshe, and then he gave them swords, and they had to go and kill all, even those whom they loved, for worshiping the golden calf, which brought a lot of pain for the congregation. So at that moment, there were 3,000 people who died. 3,000 people after the moment when Moshe came down with the tablets, which he got on Shavuot. So also the fact that during the Shavuot with the apostles, when they received the Ruach HaKodesh, just like Moshe received the law on that same day, which is the covenant. Therefore, Shavuot has to do with covenant, as in Yahweh deciding what people from the world to marry, to unite with. Um, when when Mashiach gave the Ruach on Shavuot, he was similar to when the groom gives the engagement ring, right? He's telling her that she's going to get married for sure with him, and that will happen at a certain point. But with that ring, which they give nowadays, he's making the commitment. In in the Hebrew culture, it used to be not necessarily with the ring. It would be several gifts or one gift um, for the family or for the father of the bride. And just by making that arrangement, after him paying for the daughter pretty much, and I say it like that because Mashiach paid for the daughter of Yahweh for the congregation. He paid with his blood, and that was the engagement. So after that, the groom would go to his father's house and prepare a house for his bride. And after the house was prepared, then he would come back for her. So that is the second manifestation that is still needs to happen, which will manifest finally in a physical way during the harvest, when the transformation of the chosen few during the seventh trumpet will happen. That is when the bride will be ready to go and marry Mashiach. Ready as in with all the new clothing and all of that. The dress, the wedding dress of fine linen, as we see in Revelation 19. So also another thing about that is that even it's a little bit different in the Hebrew culture from what it is nowadays, in the sense that when they would do the commitment, it was pretty much as they were married already, just not yet together. So that's another thing regarding when Mashiach came, he paid for us, so it's done. It's a done deal. It's just a matter of waiting for him to manifest the rest. And during that Shavuot, they received the Ruach, as the scripture says, as a guarantee of the salvation, of the fact that we will be one with him and receive eternal life. So that's why on the same date is that the giving of the commandments happened, the tablets, through Moshe. And it is quite possible that the Tower of Babel also fell, or at least the languages were divided in 70 on the same day, because that is also the reason why on Shavuot they received tongues and they were able to communicate with people from all nations, because Yahweh was undoing what was done during the Tower of Babel. And not only that, the law through mercy, because the law accuses, yet the new covenant forgives. So Yahweh was undoing what the transgression did, which was to bring death, and was undoing the separation or division of nations, which was manifested as the different languages that sprouted from one. So Shavuot is connected to becoming one with him, um, to the covenant, and also to the two tablets. That's why there were two pieces of bread that were given as offering on Shavuot, or as scripture says that we should, um, which also connects with the two witnesses, for it happens on the month of Gemini, which is represented by two twins, of course. Well, two brothers. I hope that's clear enough, at least. Um, but mainly, yeah. Well, like I said, the word literally means weeks, but it represents covenant, union, and Yahweh undoing what sin did.